Great. Let's jump right into it. Buchi, I'd love to start with you. And I want to take on a big question that I keep hearing from all cybersecurity founders that I meet as an investor, which is how do you go about, especially at the seed stage, in the 0 to 1 stage, prioritizing between whether to go after the enterprise segment of the market, which is serving large customers and more complex problem statements, versus really starting mid market or SMB, which is a classic kind of startup recommendation that you start bottoms up and go up. And I know that you have had a fair amount of learning in this aspect. So, how have you approached this at Levo?
Yeah, great question. I see three core pillars typically when evaluating this decision. One is basically where the pull is. Startups, we got to have a lot of momentum. You got to have somebody caring about your product if you are building something. So where are they? Are they in which segment are they in? That actually drives a lot of it. And then the other two is one, the capabilities. Your team, like the core founding team, are you like capable of building enterprise products and some of these things? It becomes more important for enterprises. And then the third one is basically the business viability, the business model. At the end of the day, it's a business. It has to make sense. So I would actually just say the very first thing, you decide a framework, whether are you going after a problem that you are very passionate about, and then decide, then actually have conversations and check whether the small and medium or enterprise are going to be your customers, and then cross check the second two that I said, which is okay. In my case, exactly what happened, I was so passionate about solving this problem, and then I started talking to companies, and I realized that okay, it is a big enough problem even in medium-sized companies. So I wanted to go after medium actually initially, but then very quickly when you hit the ground, especially when you started doing design partnerships and all, I realized that they were not that caring so much about it. I even got some false positives when I was having initial conversations, because the idea sounds exciting and they say, "Oh yeah, this is good. If I have this product, I would use it." So I thought mid market is actually what I wanted to go after initially, but then very quickly, based on the actions, I realized that it's enterprise. It was like a OMG kind of moment. But then going back, I assessed two things. One, do I have the team which actually can lend ourselves to go after enterprises? And three, does it make sense for this business? And I saw through that lens, and I understood that it's going to be a pain in the short term, because especially going after enterprises, the deal cycles are longer, and enterprise products, building them is not very easy. But fortunately, I have a strong team who have built enterprise products. I myself have done it. So based on that lens, I actually went. But if you fall in the other category where, as opposed to going after a problem, you're actually in the beginning itself, you're determined that I want to go after just mid-market. And then you got to find the problems, but you got to make sure the pull is there and they care about it.
Yeah, that's a great thought. I think it highlights the importance that it's, especially at a 0 to 1 stage, it's important to not force fit conventional startup wisdom. I think every startup is different, every problem statement is different. And I think, as you saw, right, I think the conventional wisdom is to obviously always go bottoms up. But if your pain point is with large enterprise customers, you got to go where your most viable customer is, who's actually feeling the pain point that you can solve.
Still remember my conversations, VC conversations. The PLG was a big buzz when I was raising, and everybody's, "Hey, don't you want to do it like a PLG? You're saying you're gonna enable developers to actually take care of the API security as part of this." It's like several VCs said no because of that as well. But it has to make sense, like you said. It's not just about what is working out in the general world.